Last Tuesday night, my daughter Emma looked me dead in the eyes. Her voice was cold as ice. "Mom, you have no value left," she said. The words hit me like a slap. I dropped my coffee cup. It shattered on the kitchen floor. Brown liquid spread everywhere. Emma didn't even blink. She just walked away. Her bedroom door slammed shut. The sound echoed through our small house. I stood there shaking. 42 years old, and my own child thinks I'm worthless. The coffee smell mixed with my tears. I couldn't breathe right. My heart felt broken into a million pieces. How did we get here? When did my sweet little girl turn into this stranger? The clock on the wall ticked loudly. Each second felt like forever. I grabbed paper towels. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. Glass pieces cut my fingers. Blood mixed with the coffee. Everything was a mess. Just like my life. Let me tell you who I am. My name is Rebecca Chen. I live in Millbrook, a tiny town in Ohio. Population 2,000 and shrinking. I work at the local library. Have for 15 years now. It's quiet work. I like books more than people most days. My husband David left us 3 years ago. Said he needed space. Space from what? From us? From responsibility? I never got a real answer. Emma is 17 now. She used to be my best friend. We would bake cookies together, watch movies on Friday nights. She would tell me about school, about boys, about her dreams. Now she barely looks at me. Everything I do annoys her. My clothes are embarrassing. My job is boring. My life is pathetic. Her words, not mine. Our house is small but cozy. 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom. Yellow walls that need painting. A garden out back where I grow tomatoes. The kitchen has a crack in the ceiling. I keep meaning to fix it, but money is tight. Library work doesn't pay much. David sends some money, but it's never enough. I have one close friend in this town. Her name is Martha Rodriguez. She runs the flower shop on Main Street. Martha has known me since high school. She's the only person who really sees me. The real me, not the divorced librarian, not the rejected mother. Just Rebecca. Martha has gray streaks in her black hair. She wears bright colors. Her laugh sounds like music. When I cry, she brings me tea and tissues. Millbrook is the kind of place where everyone knows everyone. The hardware store, the diner, the post office, 3 churches, 1 school. Main Street has more empty shops than full ones. Young people leave as soon as they graduate. They go to big cities. They want excitement, adventure, success. Who can blame them? But I stayed. This is home. These are my roots. The library needs me. The elderly folks need someone to help them find books. The kids need story time. I matter here, or I thought I did, until Emma's words destroyed everything. The night she called me worthless, I couldn't sleep. I sat by my bedroom window. The street was empty. A few porch lights glowed yellow. Dogs barked in the distance. I wondered if Emma was right. Maybe I am just wasting space. Maybe the world would be better without me. These thoughts scared me, but they felt so real. The next morning, Martha came to the library. She brought me coffee and a muffin, blueberry, my favorite. Her brown eyes looked worried. "You look terrible, honey," she said. I told her about Emma's words. Martha's face got angry. "That girl doesn't know what she's talking about," she said. But I wasn't sure. Strange things started happening that week. Emma would get phone calls late at night. She would whisper and hide. When I asked who it was, she would roll her eyes. "None of your business, Mom," she would say. She started wearing new clothes, expensive ones. Where did she get money for designer jeans? For that fancy purse? When I asked, she got defensive. "A friend gave them to me," she said. But which friend? I noticed other changes too. Emma would disappear for hours. She said she was studying at the library, but I work there. She never came in. She said she was at friends' houses. But when I called their parents, they seemed confused. "Emma hasn't been here in weeks," Mrs. Johnson told me. So where was my daughter going? One night I followed her. I know it sounds awful, but I was desperate. Emma left the house around 8. She walked to the edge of town, to the old factory district. Buildings there have been empty for years. Why would she go there? I hid behind a tree, watched her walk into an old warehouse. Lights were on inside. Music played softly. Other teenagers were there too, kids from school. But something felt wrong. Martha noticed the changes too. "That girl is mixed up in something," she said. We were arranging flowers in her shop. The roses smelled sweet, but worry made everything else smell sour. "Have you met her new friends?" Martha asked. I shook my head. Emma wouldn't introduce me to anyone anymore. I was too embarrassing, remember? Twist number 1. That Friday, I found something in Emma's backpack. A roll of cash, hundreds of dollars. Where does a 17-year-old get that kind of money? My hands shook as I counted it. $800, all in 20s. When Emma came home, I confronted her. She snatched the money away. It's mine, she said. I earned it. But how? Doing what? The town started feeling different too. People seemed nervous. Mrs. Patterson at the post office looked over her shoulder constantly. The sheriff drove by more often. Even Father Miguel at St. Mary's seemed worried during Sunday Mass. He kept talking about temptation, about evil hiding in plain sight. His voice shook when he spoke. I asked Martha if she noticed anything strange. She nodded slowly. Kids have been acting weird, she said. They come into my shop, buy flowers with cash, lots of cash. They won't say what the flowers are for. She paused, and they all seem scared of something. Or someone. The newspaper ran a small story about increased police patrols. Precautionary measures, the sheriff said. But precautions against what? Nobody would say. The adults in town whispered to each other. They stopped talking when kids walked by. Even at the library, parents seemed worried. They kept their children closer. Story time got smaller. Fewer families came. Emma's behavior got worse. She would stay out until midnight. Come home smelling like smoke. Not cigarette smoke. Something else. Something chemical. Her eyes looked different. Bigger, darker. When I tried to hug her, she would push me away. Don't touch me, she would say. Like I was diseased. Like I was poison. One night I heard her crying in her room. Soft, broken sobs. I knocked on her door. Emma, are you okay? Silence, then footsteps. The lock clicked. She wouldn't let me in. My own daughter wouldn't let me comfort her. I stood in the hallway feeling helpless, feeling worthless. Maybe she was right about me. Everything exploded on a rainy Thursday in October. The leaves were turning orange and red, beautiful but sad, like everything was dying. I was working late at the library, organizing returned books. The rain tapped against the windows. It sounded like tiny fingers knocking. Wanting to get in, around 9 p.m., my phone rang. It was Martha. Her voice was panicked. Rebecca, you need to come to Main Street, now. I could hear sirens in the background. Police cars. Fire trucks. What's wrong? I asked. Just come, she said. And hurry. I locked up the library and ran. The rain soaked through my jacket. My sneakers splashed in puddles. As I got closer to Main Street, I smelled smoke. Real smoke this time, not the chemical smell from Emma's clothes. Something was burning. Police cars blocked the street. Red and blue lights flashed everywhere. Sheriff Morrison stood in the rain. His uniform was soaked. His face looked grim. I found Martha behind the police tape. Her flower shop was fine, but the building next to it was on fire. The old Murphy's electronics store. Black smoke poured from the windows. Was anyone inside? I asked Martha. She grabbed my arm. Her fingers were cold. They think so, she said. They think there were kids inside. My blood turned to ice. Kids. Teenagers. Emma. I pushed through the crowd. Excuse me. Sorry. Let me through. Sheriff Morrison saw me coming. He held up his hand. Rebecca, stay back, he said. But I couldn't. What if Emma was in there? What if my baby was trapped? The fire department was hosing down the building. Steam rose from the roof. It looked like the building was breathing, like it was alive and dying at the same time. Firefighter Jackson came running out. He was carrying something. Someone. A teenager. The body was limp, unconscious. It wasn't Emma. It was Tyler Webb, a boy from her class. His face was covered in soot. Paramedics rushed him to an ambulance. Then another firefighter came out, carrying another kid, Jenny Martinez. Then another, Michael Torres, all unconscious, all from Emma's school. How many kids were in there? I asked Sheriff Morrison. He looked at his notepad. We're not sure, he said. Maybe 8, maybe 10. My heart stopped. Where was Emma? Twist number 2, then I saw her. Standing across the street, watching the fire. She wasn't hurt. She wasn't inside. She was just watching. Like she knew this would happen. Like she was waiting for it. Our eyes met through the smoke and rain. Her face showed no emotion. No fear, no sadness. Just emptiness. I ran to her. Emma, thank God you're safe. I tried to hug her. She stepped back. I'm fine, Mom, she said. Her voice was flat, cold. Why aren't you surprised? I asked. About the fire. About your friends being hurt. She shrugged. Bad things happen, she said. That's life. The ambulances drove away. Sirens wailing. taking the unconscious teenagers to the hospital. Parents arrived, crying, screaming. Mrs. Webb collapsed on the sidewalk. Her son might not wake up, but Emma just stood there, watching, like it was a movie, like it wasn't real. Sheriff Morrison came over. "Emma, were you supposed to be in there tonight?" he asked. She shook her head. "No, sir," she said. "I was at home, studying." But that was a lie. I saw her leave the house at 8. Where had she really been? The fire was almost out now. The building was destroyed, black and hollow, like a skeleton. Firefighter Jackson approached the sheriff. "We found something," he said. He held up a small plastic bag, white powder inside. "Drugs?" the sheriff asked. Jackson nodded. "Looks like meth," he said. "Lots of it. My legs almost gave out. Meth, drugs, in our quiet little town. And somehow my daughter knew about this fire before it happened. The pieces were starting to fit together. The money, the new clothes, the late-night phone calls, the chemical smell. Emma was involved. My baby girl was mixed up in drugs." The sheriff questioned more kids. The ones who weren't unconscious. They all told the same story. There was a party at the electronics store. Someone was cooking meth in the back room. The chemicals caught fire. Everyone panicked. Some escaped. Others passed out from the smoke. "Who organized this party?" Sheriff Morrison asked. The kids looked at each other, scared, nervous. Finally, Jenny's little brother spoke up. "It was the new guy," he said. "The one with the fancy car." "What new guy?" "What fancy car?" Martha pulled me aside. "Rebecca, I've seen that car," she said. "A black Mercedes, parked outside the school. The driver is older, maybe 30. He's been talking to the kids." My stomach dropped. An older man, talking to teenagers, giving them money, getting them involved in drugs. Emma started walking away. I followed her. "We need to talk," I said. She spun around. Her eyes were angry. "About what?" she snapped. "About the fire. About the money. About where you've really been going." She laughed, but it wasn't a happy sound. "You wouldn't understand," she said. "You're just a boring librarian. You don't know anything about real life." Those words hurt worse than before, because this time they came with fear. Fear that I was losing my daughter to something dangerous, something that could kill her. The next morning, I called in sick to work. I couldn't focus on books when my daughter might be in danger. I needed answers. I needed to understand what was happening in my town. In my family, Martha closed her shop early. We drove to the hospital together. Her old car smelled like roses. The radio played soft music, but my heart was pounding like drums. The 4 teenagers were in intensive care, still unconscious. Their parents sat in the waiting room, eyes red from crying. I found Mrs. Webb by the coffee machine. Her hands shook as she poured coffee. "How is Tyler?" I asked. She looked up. Her face was pale. "The doctors don't know if he'll wake up," she said. "The smoke damaged his lungs, his brain." Tears fell into her coffee cup. Dr. Peterson came out of the ICU. His scrubs were wrinkled. He looked exhausted. "The kids inhaled toxic fumes," he explained to the families. "Not just smoke. Chemical vapors from the drug lab. We're doing everything we can." Drug lab. In our town. How did this happen? Twist number 3. Mrs. Webb grabbed my arm. "Tyler told me something before this happened," she whispered. "He said a man promised the kids easy money, just for helping with deliveries. He said the man knew things about their families. Personal things. Things he used to make them scared." My blood ran cold. This wasn't just about drugs. This was about manipulation, about someone targeting our children, using fear and money to control them. I thought about Emma's expensive clothes, her roll of cash. Had she been making deliveries too? Martha and I went to the police station. Sheriff Morrison looked like he hadn't slept in days. His desk was covered with files, photos, evidence bags. "Ladies, I'm busy," he said. But Martha put her hands on her hips. "Our kids are in danger," she said. "We want to help," the sheriff sighed. He showed us a photo. A man in his 30s. Dark hair, expensive suit, driving a black Mercedes. "This is Marcus Vega," he said. "We think he's been recruiting local teenagers, using them to distribute drugs." The electronics store was his lab. I stared at the photo. The man looked normal, handsome even, like someone you might trust. "How long has he been in town?" I asked. "About 6 months, the sheriff said. "Right around the time kids started acting strange. 6 months ago. That's when Emma started changing, when she became distant, when she started saying cruel things. This man had poisoned my daughter's mind. made her think her mother was worthless. So she would depend on him instead. We need more evidence, Sheriff Morrison said. The kids who are awake won't talk. They're too scared or too loyal to him. I understood. Vega had groomed them, made them feel special, important, everything their parents weren't giving them. At least that's what he made them believe. That afternoon, I did something risky. I followed Emma again, but this time Martha came with me. We parked across from our high school, watched Emma walk to the parking lot. The black Mercedes was waiting. My daughter got in the passenger seat. Martha started her car. "We're following them," she said. Her voice was determined. We stayed far behind. The Mercedes drove to the rich part of town. Big houses, perfect lawns. It stopped at a mansion on Elm Street. Emma got out. She looked around nervously, then walked to the front door. "Whose house is that?" I asked. Martha checked her phone. "According to the tax records, it belongs to Richard Blackwood." I knew that name. Blackwood was the mayor's brother. He ran several businesses in town, construction, real estate. He seemed like a pillar of the community. We watched Emma go inside. The house was beautiful. White columns, manicured gardens. This was where my daughter was spending her time, with wealthy, powerful men, while calling her mother worthless. An hour later, Emma came out, but she wasn't alone. Richard Blackwood walked her to the car. He was older than I expected, maybe 50, gray hair, expensive clothes. He handed Emma an envelope. She smiled and got back in the Mercedes with Vega. Martha and I looked at each other. "The mayor's brother is involved," she whispered. "This wasn't just about some outsider bringing drugs to town. This involved local people, respected people, people with power and influence." We followed the Mercedes to another location, an old warehouse on the outskirts of town, the same one I had seen Emma visit before. Cars were parked outside. Teenagers were going in and out, like a business, like they belonged there. From our hiding spot, we watched Emma carry boxes from the warehouse to different cars. She moved with confidence, like she had done this many times. My sweet daughter had become a drug dealer, and I had no idea. The pieces were becoming clear. Vega was the recruiter. He found vulnerable kids, kids from broken homes, kids who felt unimportant. He made them feel special, gave them money, made them dependent on him. Then he used them to sell drugs throughout the county. Blackwood provided the money and connections. His legitimate businesses were perfect covers. Construction workers could transport drugs. Real estate deals could launder money. And his brother being mayor meant police protection, or at least delayed investigations. But something had gone wrong at the electronics store. The lab had exploded. Kids were hurt. The operation was exposed. Now they needed to clean up, get rid of evidence, maybe even get rid of witnesses. That night, I tried to talk to Emma again. She was in her room, counting money, hundreds of dollars spread across her bed. "Emma, we need to talk," I said. She quickly covered the money with a blanket. "Go away, Mom," she said. "I'm busy." "Busy with what?" I asked. "Making money? Selling drugs?" Her face went white, then red. "You don't know anything," she said. "You're just a pathetic librarian. You work for pennies. You live in this dump. You have nothing to offer me." Her words cut deep. But now I understood where they came from. Someone had taught her to think this way. Someone had turned my daughter against me, made her ashamed of our simple life. Our honest life. "Emma, you're in danger," I said. "These people don't care about you. They're using you." She laughed. "Using me? They respect me. They pay me. They treat me like an adult, not like a helpless child." The brainwashing was complete. I left her room feeling desperate, but also determined. I wouldn't let these men destroy my daughter, even if she hated me, even if she thought I was worthless. I was still her mother, and mothers protect their children. The next day was Saturday. I called Martha early. "I have a plan," I told her. "But it's dangerous." She didn't hesitate. "I'm in," she said. "These people hurt our kids. They need to pay." My plan was simple but risky. We would go to the warehouse during their next meeting, pretend I was interested in making money, get inside, record everything on my phone, then take the evidence to the state police. The local police might be compromised, but the state police would have to act. That evening we drove to the warehouse. Cars were already there, the same teenagers going in and out. My heart pounded as we walked to the entrance. A boy I recognized from the library stood guard. "You can't come in here," he said. "Private party." "I'm Emma Chen's mother," I said. "I want to talk to your boss." The boy looked confused. He spoke into a phone, A few minutes later, Emma appeared. Her face was shocked, then angry. "What are you doing here?" She hissed. "I want to meet your friends," I said calmly. "The ones who respect you so much." Emma looked around nervously. Other kids were watching. "Mom, just go home," she whispered. "You don't belong here." But it was too late. Marcus Vega appeared behind Emma. He was taller than in his photo. His smile was perfect. Too perfect. "Mrs. Chen," he said smoothly. "Emma talks about you all the time." I bet she did. "Probably nothing good." "I hear you've been helping my daughter," I said. "Teaching her about business." His smile widened. "Emma is very talented," he said. "She has potential, unlike some people in this town." The insult was subtle but clear. I was one of those people without potential, without value. This man had poisoned my daughter's mind, made her see me as an enemy instead of a protector. "Can I see your operation?" I asked. Maybe I could help too. Vega studied my face, looking for signs of deception. "What kind of help?" he asked. "I work at the library," I said. "I know everyone in town. Their schedules, their habits." That could be useful. Twist number 5. Emma's eyes went wide. "Mom, no," she said. "You don't understand what you're getting into." But Vega looked interested. "Come inside," he said. "Let's talk." The warehouse was bigger than I expected. Tables covered with white powder, scales, plastic bags, teenagers packaging drugs like they were working at a factory. The smell was sharp, chemical. It burned my nose and throat. Richard Blackwood sat at a desk in the back. Expensive suit, gold watch. He looked up when we approached. "Richard," Vega said, "this is Emma's mother. She wants to join our team." Blackwood's eyes were cold, calculating. "What can you offer us?" he asked. His voice was smooth, practiced, like a politician. Which made sense. Politics ran in his family. "Information," I said. "I know when people are home. When they're not, when they travel, when they get packages, all true things a librarian might know." Martha stayed close behind me. Her phone was recording in her purse. We just needed a few minutes of clear conversation. Proof of what was happening here. Evidence of the conspiracy. Blackwood nodded slowly. "Information is valuable," he said. "But loyalty is more important. How do we know you won't betray us?" I looked at Emma. "My daughter is here," I said. "I want what's best for her." That part was completely true. "Smart woman," Vega said. "Emma, show your mother how the operation works." Emma looked uncomfortable. But she led me to a table where kids were packaging drugs. "We buy in bulk," she explained. "Then break it down. Sell to dealers in other towns. They sell to users." The efficiency was impressive and terrifying. These weren't hardened criminals. They were honor students, athletes, kids from good families, kids who should have been planning for college. Instead, they were planning drug deliveries. "The beauty of using teenagers," Blackwood explained, "is that nobody suspects them. They can go anywhere, do anything, and if they get caught, the penalties are lighter." He talked about children like they were tools. "Disposable tools. What about the fire?" I asked. "At the electronics store?" Blackwood's face darkened. "An accident," he said. "Someone got careless, mixed the wrong chemicals." But his tone suggested it wasn't really an accident. Someone had made a mistake, and mistakes had consequences. Emma grabbed my arm. "Mom, maybe you should go," she whispered. "This is more complicated than you think." But I couldn't leave. Not when I was so close to the truth. Not when I had evidence that could save other children. "The fire was convenient," Vega said. "It destroyed evidence, and it scared the kids, made them more loyal, more careful." He smiled. "Fear is a great motivator." Twist number 6. That's when I realized the horrible truth. The fire wasn't an accident, and it wasn't a mistake. It was deliberate. Vega and Blackwood had burned down their own lab, with children inside, to destroy evidence and send a message. 4 teenagers were in the hospital, fighting for their lives, because these men cared more about protecting their operation than protecting children. The evil was deeper than I had imagined. "You killed those kids," I said. The words came out before I could stop them. The warehouse went quiet. Everyone turned to look at us. Vega's smile disappeared. "Excuse me?" he said. His voice was dangerous now. Emma stepped between us. "She doesn't mean that," Emma said quickly. "She's just upset about the accident." But Blackwood was studying my face. He saw the truth in my eyes. I knew what they had done. "Search her," he told one of the teenagers. The boy looked uncomfortable but obeyed. He found Martha's phone. "Still recording." He handed it to Blackwood. "Well, well," Blackwood said. "Mrs. Chen isn't here to join us. She's here to spy on us." The warehouse erupted in panic. Kids started running, grabbing money and drugs, getting ready to flee. But Vega blocked the exits. "Nobody leaves," he shouted. "Not until we figure out what to do with our visitors." Emma looked terrified. "Please," she said. "She's my mother. Don't hurt her." But I could see the conflict in her eyes. These people had convinced her I was worthless. But she still loved me. Deep down, she still loved me. Martha moved closer to me. "What's the plan now?" she whispered. I didn't have one. We were trapped, with criminals who had already killed children. Who wouldn't hesitate to kill adults? That's when I remembered something. The library had a panic button, connected directly to the state police. I had installed it years ago after some security training. But I also remembered the phone number, the direct line to the state police dispatcher. While Vega and Blackwood argued about what to do with us, I slowly reached for my phone. Most of the kids had run away. Only Emma and a few others remained. The warehouse felt empty, dangerous. I dialed the number, held the phone low. When the dispatcher answered, I spoke loudly. "This is Rebecca Chen at 1847 Industrial Road. I'm being held against my will by Marcus Vega and Richard Blackwood. They're running a drug operation. They killed the kids in the fire, then I dropped the phone. Let it stay connected." Blackwood heard me talking. He lunged for my phone, but Martha grabbed a metal pipe from one of the tables. "Stay back," she warned. For a flower shop owner, she looked pretty fierce. Blackwood hesitated. "You stupid woman," Vega said. "You have no idea what you've done." But I did know. I had saved my daughter. And maybe saved other children too, even if it cost me my life. Emma was crying now. "Mom, I'm sorry," she said. "I didn't know they hurt those kids. I thought it was just about money, about having nice things." The truth was finally breaking through their brainwashing. "It's okay, baby," I said. "Mama's here. Everything will be okay." For the first time in months, Emma didn't pull away when I reached for her. She let me hug her, my worthless arms around my priceless daughter. Police sirens wailed in the distance, getting closer. Vega ran for the back exit, but state police were already surrounding the building. He was trapped. We all were. But now I wasn't scared. Help was coming. Twist number 7. Richard Blackwood pulled out a gun. His hands were shaking. "This is your fault," he said, pointing it at me. "You destroyed everything. My brother will lose the election. My businesses will be ruined. My family will be disgraced." Emma stepped in front of me. "Don't hurt my mother," she said. Her voice was strong, clear. She was right. "You used us. You lied to us. You made us think our families didn't matter." My brave girl was finally standing up to them. "Your mother is worthless," Blackwood said. "Just like you told us. Remember? You said she had no value, no importance." Emma shook her head. "I was wrong," she said. "My mother is the most important person in my life, and you made me forget that." The police burst through the doors, state troopers in full gear. "Drop your weapon," they shouted. Blackwood hesitated. The gun wavered in his hand. For a moment, I thought he might shoot anyway, but then he dropped it, raised his hands. They arrested Vega first, then Blackwood. Both men looked smaller now, less powerful. Without their money and influence, they were just common criminals. The teenagers who remained were handcuffed too, but gently, like victims instead of criminals. Emma wasn't arrested. She cooperated completely, told the police everything she knew about the recruitment, the manipulation, the promises of money and respect. The pressure to reject her family. Her voice was strong as she testified. My daughter was finding herself again. The paramedics checked us over. Martha had a cut on her hand from the metal pipe. I had bruises on my arms. But we were alive. We had survived. And we had evidence that would put these men away for a long time. The next few hours were a blur. Police interviews, paperwork, phone calls. The story spread through Millbrook like wildfire. The mayor's brother arrested for drug trafficking. The electronics store fire was arson. Children used as drug dealers. Parents were shocked, angry, scared, but they were also grateful. Grateful that someone had stood up to the criminals. Someone had risked everything to save their children. That someone was me, the boring librarian, the woman with no value. The local news arrived, cameras, reporters. They wanted to interview the woman who exposed the drug ring, the mother who saved the town. I didn't feel like a hero. I felt like a mom who had protected her child. Nothing more, nothing less. "Mrs. Chen," the reporter said, "how does it feel to be called the woman who saved Millbrook?" I looked at Emma. She was standing beside me, holding my hand. "I just did what any mother would do," I said. "I protected my daughter, and that led to protecting everyone's daughters and sons." The teenagers in the hospital started waking up. Tyler Webb opened his eyes on Sunday morning. His mother called me crying, happy tears this time. "He's going to be okay," she said. "The doctors say he'll make a full recovery." 3 other families got similar news. All 4 kids would live. Emma and I went home that night. Our little house looked different somehow. The yellow walls seemed brighter. The crack in the ceiling seemed smaller. The kitchen where my coffee cup had shattered looked warm and welcoming. Home, sweet home. "Mom," Emma said as we sat on the couch, "I'm sorry for what I said, about you having no value. I didn't mean it." I stroked her hair. "Yes, you did," I said, "and that's okay. They made you think that way, but now you know better." She curled up next to me, like she used to when she was little. "You risked your life for me," she said, "even though I was mean to you, even though I said awful things." I kissed the top of her head. "That's what mothers do," I said. "We love our children no matter what." The trial happened 6 months later. Marcus Vega got 25 years in prison. Richard Blackwood got 30 years. The mayor resigned in shame. His political career was over. Justice was served. 12 teenagers testified against their former recruiters. Emma was the strongest witness. She explained how the men had manipulated them, made them feel special, important, different from their boring families. The jury listened with tears in their eyes. The fire at the electronics store was ruled arson. Vega had ordered it burned to destroy evidence. He didn't care that children were inside. The 4 victims testified too. Tyler Webb looked directly at Vega and said, "You tried to kill us to save yourself, but we survived, and now everyone knows who you really are." Millbrook started healing. The empty shops on Main Street found new owners. Young families moved back. The school started a program about drug awareness, about recognizing manipulation, about the value of family. Emma helped create the program. She spoke to younger students about her experience. Martha's flower shop became busier than ever. People wanted to support the woman who had helped expose the truth. She hired 2 employees. Business was booming. "Good deeds bring good rewards," she said. And she was right. The library got more funding. The town council said my bravery had brought positive attention to Millbrook. We bought new books, fixed the computers, started new programs. I even got a raise, not much, but enough to fix the crack in our ceiling. Emma graduated high school with honors. She got a scholarship to study social work. "I want to help kids like me," she explained, "kids who get confused about what really matters." She would be perfect at it. Her experience gave her wisdom. Her mistakes gave her compassion. On the day the news called me the woman who saved the town, Emma framed the newspaper article. She hung it in our kitchen, right where my coffee cup had shattered. "So we never forget," she said. "So we remember that love is stronger than lies." People ask me how I found the courage to face those dangerous men. how I risked everything for a daughter who had rejected me. The answer is simple. Love doesn't keep score. Love doesn't hold grudges. Love just loves. Even when it hurts. Even when it's not returned. Even when people call you worthless. I learned that worth isn't measured by money or status. It's measured by what you're willing to sacrifice for others. By standing up when it would be easier to sit down. By speaking truth when lies would be safer. By loving when hate would be simpler. My daughter once said I had no value left. The news called me the woman who saved the town. But I know the real truth. I'm just a mother, a librarian, a friend, a neighbor, and that's enough. That's more than enough. What would you do in my place? Would you fight for a child who rejected you? Would you risk everything to save your community? I hope you never have to find out. But if you do, I hope you remember my story. Remember that ordinary people can do extraordinary things when love is the reason. Thank you for listening to my story, for sharing this journey with me. Until next time, remember to cherish your family, protect your children, and never let anyone tell you that you have no value, because you do. We all do. With love and respect, until next time.